Hi, everybody. Welcome to HN 309 Nutrition Science 2. My name is Krista Verity, and I'm a professor of nutrition in the nutrition department here at UIC. And I've been teaching this class for about 10 years or so. So, I'm excited to teach it again. And looking forward to meeting you all. There is kind of like a live session, which I'll describe in a bit, which is held on Fridays at noon. I posted the Zoom link on Blackboard, so you'll actually be able to see my face in those live sessions, and you can ask questions at that point too. But let me just do a little bit of background on the course. So, and then also I can just tell you a bit about myself as well. So I have basically all my degrees have been in nutrition. I did a bachelor's degree in nutrition and dietetics. I'm from Canada, so I did that at a university just outside of Toronto. And then I went on to McGill University to do a PhD in human nutrition. And then after that, I went to UC Berkeley and started running kind of clinical weight loss intervention trials. And that's where I got interested in intermittent fasting. So I've been studying intermittent fasting for about 15 years or so now. And our lab does a lot of like human clinical intervention trials looking at whether or not intermittent fasting can help people lose weight and lower heart disease and diabetes risk. And if you're, just as an aside, if you're interested in getting any kind of research experience, please email me. My email's right here. Um, and I'd be happy to see if we have any more positions available. You can also sign up for independent study if you're interested in just getting, a bit of kind of like clinical trial experience while you're here at UIC. So moving on, so back to the class. The teaching assistant is Mark Espaleta. His office hours are by appointment, but you can email him if you need any extra tutoring or anything like that. Mark took this class a couple years ago, so he's really well versed in the class. He's currently my PhD student, and he is super helpful. So feel free to email him. He will be the one grading the exams as well. The prerequisite for the class is HN 308, so Dr. Song's class. This is basically like a continuation of that class. So, he did kind of like the macronutrients, and then this is more like all the micronutrients, so like the vitamins and minerals. And we don't have, well, I'll go into this in a second, but there is a live portion of the class. So if you see it like on your, class agenda or whatever, it's listed from 12 to 1:20 on Fridays. And so during that time, I have a live Q&A. And then that's also when the exams are administered. So that's why it's listed like that in your kind of like course calendars. And again, I'll explain the Zoom sessions in a second. So, very basically, what we're going to do in this class is look at all the different vitamins and minerals. So, all the water soluble vitamins and all the fat soluble vitamins. And then we're going to go over kind of like their functions, their biochemistry, what food sources you get them from, what their general functions are, and what happens if you take in like too much of them or not enough. So, like toxicity and deficiency disorders. And so we basically go through those things for each of the vitamins and minerals. In terms of further reading, this is only suggested, so you do not have to buy this book to do well in the class. It's advanced. The book is Advanced Nutrition and Human Metabolism. It's great if you want to do some further reading. A lot of my lecture slides are just developed from this text, so you can do that. But at the same time, you do not need to buy it to do well in the class. All of the exam material will be based on the slides and the lectures, like the video lectures. So, if you want to buy it, you can, but I know it's expensive, so no worries if you don't want to. So the lecture slides and videos, since you're watching this, you probably already found how to get here. But everything, the physical slides, so like the PowerPoint slides, you can download them from Blackboard under course content. The syllabus is found under the tab Syllabus. And then there's also a link that I posted just right under course content for the Zoom sessions and also the YouTube lectures. And I tried to organize them so it's pretty clear kind of where to start and how to go through the class. So now to get in a bit more detail about these live Q&A sessions, So again, they're Fridays over Zoom. They start at 12 p.m. And I'll kind of just go until everyone is finished asking questions. Like we have like a full, hour and 15 minutes on there, but and previously I did this last year, they kind of ran for roughly an hour or so. So you can kind of join whenever you want, but if you join at like 1 p.m. and no one's there, it's just because it kind of ended early. But the Zoom session is really, since we don't really obviously like meet in person for this class, it's a time for you to ask questions about any of the lecture slides, content. I ask that you don't email me questions, kind of like complicated questions about content, just because a lot of this stuff is kind of like biochemistry and it's really hard to explain like just in text. So I'd appreciate it if you could just come to the Q&As, and then that way you can like show me the slide and be like, wait, so what were you saying when you're talking about this? And like oftentimes if you have a question, I'm sure a lot of the other students would appreciate clarifications on certain slides. Like there's kind of like certain spots in the class that everyone finds confusing. So you should definitely kind of raise your hand or whatever, and feel free to ask any questions you have. And then so we're going to have that once a week for roughly an hour or so, and that way yeah, I can answer any questions you have, and we'll also do like an exam review during those live Q&A sessions. So please participate. There's no like participation grade for that, I should point out, so you don't have to attend, but I think it would definitely greatly increase your just kind of like understanding of the material if you did attend. So for the grade distribution of the class, there are 3 exams. They are all held over Blackboard. Each exam is worth a third of your grade. So there's one for water-soluble vitamins, the second one is for fat-soluble vitamins, and then the third is for the minerals. And again, each are worth about 33% of your grade. The exams will be held over Blackboard. So I'll give you instructions about a week in advance, saying like exactly what to do, like how to take the exam. So it should be pretty clear. I've done this for a couple of years now, and there hasn't really been any issues with holding them over Blackboard. So one thing I want to point out, just for policy for missed exams, if you can't attend the exam because of some type of medical emergency, I do need a doctor's note for that. So there's like no exceptions to that. If you got sick, that's totally fine. I understand people have reasons for not taking the exam if they're sick, but please email me a copy of the doctor's note. And then basically I'll put you in touch with the TA, and then you can figure out another good time to write the exam. All right, and then just going over kind of the class schedule. I know obviously this is like an online class, so you can watch the lecture videos anytime you want, but I just kind of set it up here kind of like I would if I was teaching this in person. So we typically have 2 lectures per week. And so I set it up, and the class used to be held in person on Monday and Wednesday. So I kind of just set it up like that. So you could watch like whatever the introduction DRI one. So basically that's the next slide, the next lecture after this. You could watch that on Monday if you want. And then on Wednesdays, you could watch the second lecture of the week. But obviously, it's completely up to you when you watch them. You basically just have to have watched them all before the exams, because obviously that's all the content in the exams. So just to point out a couple of key dates, on February 11th, I have to cancel the Q&A session because I'm actually going to be flying back from a conference at that time. But since it is the Q&A session right before that exam, I'll try to set up an alternative time to answer questions. Probably like during the week of this, like right, a few days before February 18th. Because February 18th is when you have your first exam on the water-soluble vitamins. And again, held over Blackboard at 12 p.m. The second exam is held Friday, March 11th. So again, during that kind of live Q&A session time over Blackboard, basically. Also to point out that spring break is March 21st to 25th. So kind of like the last week of March. I think it's pretty much always held then. And then the third exam is on minerals, the macrominerals and the microminerals, and that's the final exam for the class. It's held on Friday, April 29th. So there is no, I know that there's like a final exams period, usually like the first week of May, but there is no actual final for this class, just so you know. Once you're done this exam here, the minerals exam, you're basically done the class. Great. So after this, if you could please watch the next, excuse me, the next video would be the intro and DRIs video. Yeah, start from there and then, yeah, just kind of work your way through the lectures. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the live Q&A session on Friday.